Singapore is speeding up vaccinations for seniors and extending the rollout to teachers, postmen and migrant workers.
In a speech marking International Women's Day, President Halimah Yacob calls on governments to prioritise gender equality.
And a new ST series, Invisible Asia, tells the story of one man's journey to redemption after his brother died from fighting for ISIS.
Welcome to The Big Story, coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. I'm Olivia Quay.
I'm Haryanto Dimana. You can subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you never miss a single episode. Singapore's COVID-19 vaccination drive has been brought forward for all seniors. The Health Ministry had earlier announced that those aged 60 to 69 would get their first dose around the end of this month. But it said today that they'll now get their invitation letters within the next few days. According to MOH, this is possible because more vaccine supplies have arrived.
Well, vaccinations will also be extended to more high-risk groups and essential workers, including teachers, postmen and migrant workers. 10,000 migrant workers will get their shots in this initial round. They must have never been infected by COVID-19 and living in the 5 largest dormitories. MOH said workers who have completed vaccination can then be tested less frequently, following a 28-day cycle instead of the current 14 days.
Meanwhile, the Education Ministry said today that more than 150,000 teachers and other staff in educational institutions will be offered the vaccine from this Wednesday, March the 10th. The exercise will cover all staff in primary and secondary schools, as well as junior colleges and Millennia Institute, and those in special education schools, ITEs and polytechnics, among others. Eligible personnel will progressively receive SMSs to book their appointments.
13 new COVID-19 cases confirmed today, all imported and placed on stay-home notice or isolated upon arrival in Singapore. MOH will share more details tonight.
Meanwhile, giving an update on the vaccination drive, the ministry shared that about 379,000 people here have received at least the first dose, with over 217,000 completed their vaccination regimen.
In other local headlines, General Practitioner Louis Weng's son has been acquitted of molesting one of his female patients at a Northeast Medical Group clinic back in 2017. He had been accused of molesting a woman by touching her left breast. District Judge Jasvenda Kaur said today that she did not find the patient's evidence to be, quote, unusually convincing.
Today marks International Women's Day, and in her opening remarks at the Women of Our Time conference, President Halimah Yacob said the COVID-19 pandemic has undermined women's progress, but there are 3 areas that countries can focus on to advance gender equality. Madam Halimah called for governments to prioritise gender equality and place it at the centre of their development programs, as well as ensure women have equal access to education and training and labour market information. There also needs to be greater measurable improvements in the workplace, like narrowing the gender wage gap.
Meanwhile, a new initiative will be officially launched this year, which will look at how to keep women and girls safe online. Making the announcement today, Senior Minister of State for Communications and Information, Sim Ann, said women and girls could start to think it's normal to receive nude pictures or unwelcome advances online unless more is done to protect them.
The government will inject another $25 million into the Sports Resilience Package. Minister of Culture, Community and Youth Edwin Tong told Parliament today that the bulk of the additional funds will go towards an expansion of the Enterprise Innovation and Capability Development Grant,
while a new self-employed person project grant will benefit health and fitness professionals.
We recognize the important role which many sports freelancers and self-employed persons play, and we want to support you in this endeavour. This grant has 3 objectives. 1, create more work opportunities for sports self-employed persons and freelancers. 2, support capability development through the planning and execution of projects. And 3, support the resumption of sporting and community activities.
National sports body Sport SG will also support the sector through an industry development plan. For a start, it will enhance digital capabilities and innovation, as well as workforce capabilities that will see collaborations with workforce and educational agencies.
Another new initiative announced today, the Safe Sport program to address abuse and harassment. Mr. Tong said this will be done through 3 ways: preventing inappropriate behavior with a unified code against sexual, psychological and physical misconduct.
The second way is addressing incidents through enhanced case management. Lastly, there will be an accreditation framework so that sport participants can easily identify organizations that are committed to practicing sport free of abuse and harassment.
The Safe Sport program also contributes to the ongoing conversations on Singapore's women development, although not all sport participants are women. We want to facilitate an ongoing and enabling sporting environment that protects both women and girls. This is also an example of the government's approach to addressing women's development in partnership with stakeholders.
Arts freelancers and businesses will get more support as well, as the government pledged another $20 million to help the sector tide over the pandemic. This will cover the cost of new grants for self-employed workers and business transformation, as well as the extensions of other support.
Minister of State for Culture, Community and Youth, Loh Yan Ling, also gave more details on the new Business Transformation Fund, which aims to help arts and culture organizations become more efficient and sustainable.
Under the BTF, Business Transformation Grant offers arts and culture organizations up to $30,000 to digitalize or improve their administration and service delivery. Organizations that pull together to explore co-solutioning IT projects that benefit multiple users or have potential for industry spin-off can apply for up to $200,000 in funding. MCCY and NAC will also work with our partners to commission work and co-create business transformation solutions that position arts and culture outfits for the future.
While responding to a question about the substation's imminent closure, Ms. Loh said the government will still ensure art spaces are used efficiently and meet the changing needs of artists in Singapore.
In Landscar Singapore, we have a responsibility to ensure that the space is used optimally and effectively, and we seek to provide fair access and inclusive opportunities for as many as possible in the community, especially new groups and young practitioners who need that incubator space. Now, I also want to use this opportunity to explain that NAC takes a calibrated approach to spaces as well as grants. For example, where they are providing specific project grants, because after all, this is taxpayers' money, or even managing the Arts Resource Hub co-working space, they will exercise greater oversight. But otherwise, NAC will provide recipients with the autonomy to utilize and maximize the resources they are accorded within mutually agreed conditions. We hope that the place will continue to support the work of young and unproven practitioners and be a haven for collaboration and the arts and culture community. And I want to reassure everyone in this house that MCCY, NAC, and the staff will continue to involve and consult our various stakeholders, whether in administering grants or even supporting our community with infrastructure and space.
MCCY will also set up 2 Singapore Together Alliances for Action. The first is on emerging needs and volunteerism, which will focus on supporting mental wellness, helping seniors adapt to the new normal and facilitating in-kind contributions.
The second is on corporate purpose. MCCY will work with private sector partners on a national blueprint. This will provide a roadmap for businesses to measure their progress and their impact as purpose-driven businesses.
Meanwhile, from next month, eligible Muslim couples looking to get married will pay about 1/3 less for a marriage preparation program. Announcing the change today, Minister in charge of Muslim Affairs Massago Zulkifli shared that these couples will receive a rebate of $70 for the Cinta Abadi marriage preparation course, which currently costs between $200 and $260.
Separately, Minister in the Prime Minister's office, Maliki Osman, announced that a new government-led office will be set up by the middle of this year to better organize Malay Muslim volunteers and manage community resources more effectively. Well, this move to improve engagement efforts will come under collaboration by three key Malay Muslim organizations, Mendaki, MUIS and the People's Association Malay Activity Executive Committee's Council.
Dr. Maliki said one immediate task will be to focus on building the capability of volunteers in M-Cube at towns, which are platforms for those in the community to work together to help residents closer to home. He added that the new office will set up a training framework for these volunteers to deepen their understanding of relevant national policies and government schemes, as well as equip them with the skills to help vulnerable families.
We will continue to work hand in hand with the various Malay Muslim organizations and volunteers to ensure that our programs are effective in meeting the evolving needs of the Malay Muslim community and ensure no one is left behind. The community has also made significant progress as a result. The gotong royong spirit is one we must encourage, where community members look out for one another and where we empower them to be contributing members of our society. This sense of citizenry will carry us far in navigating uncertainties ahead of us, together with the rest of Singapore.
Invisible Asia, the Straits Times' new weekly series, launches today. As you can tell from the name, it uncovers stories of people around the region living in the shadows of their societies, largely unseen and unheard.
Its first episode is about one man's journey to redemption after his brother carried out a suicide bombing mission for the ISIS terror group.
Anaknya pertama diem, santun, lemah lembut, pintar, bahkan sangat-sangat pintar. Quran itu hampir hafal, 30 juz, anak umur 17 tahun. Pada saat bersamaan anak-anak seusianya, teman-temannya dulu udah jangankan seperti itu. Dia 1 juz saja nggak bisa. Itu sudah berbulan-bulan Mas, gitu loh. Oh, bahwa dia perang di sana, dia ikut jihad beneran, ditunjukkan yang dibawa adalah Kalashnikov AK-47, tidur pun dipakai guling itu, dan dia memang pingin bener mati di sana. Sempat telepon orang tua juga, saya kok belum mati, sedangkan teman-teman saya ikut jihad semua banyak sudah mati. Kemudian dengar dia meninggal itu ada temannya yang biasa berhubungan sama orang di sana, ada itu. Bahkan ada sebuah ormas besar yang bilang umum bahwa saya teroris, bayinan teroris gitu. Itu yang termasuk membuat saya pindah ke Jogja. Tujuannya adalah menjadi komunitas baru supaya para ex-napiter tidak kembali kepada komunitas lama, menjadi ruang atau wadah untuk pengkondisian mereka. Harapannya adalah menjadi warga negara yang baik.
Well, Assistant Foreign Editor Magdalene Fong shares more on this new series, which aims to highlight the diverse stories of those who, again, don't usually garner attention.
Invisible Asia is a series of in-depth human interest feature stories, videos, and podcasts covering people and communities around the region, from segments of society that in our daily lives we seldom see, hear of, or talk about. These people may live in the shadows or on the fringes of their societies and may not garner a lot of day-to-day attention, whether by their governments or by the media. So in covering such groups of people, we hope to raise awareness of their existence and of the issues that they grapple with. We all know that Asia is a very diverse region, right? So within all the different countries in Asia, if we just look at their standards of living, for example, that alone can already be vastly divergent. Each country or even each state within each country faces very different problems, different issues affecting their societies in so many different ways. So Invisible Asia, our new series, seeks to bring all these little discussed country-specific issues to light, leveraging on the expertise of our Straits Times correspondents stationed around the region.
In other global headlines, according to witnesses, 2 people were killed when Myanmar police fired on protesters in a northern town. Witnesses also said several people were injured. Meanwhile, shops, factories and banks were closed in Yangon today. This after major trade unions called for a shutdown of the economy as part of the uprising against the junta. State media is also reporting that security forces are, quote, maintaining hospitals and universities in various places. It's not clear whether anyone was hurt.
South Korea said today that it's found no link between the COVID-19 vaccine and several recent deaths. Health officials had been investigating the deaths of 8 people with underlying conditions who had adverse reactions after receiving AstraZeneca's vaccine, but said they found no evidence that the shots played a role.
Now, this has been making the rounds on social media. In an interview with Oprah Winfrey, Meghan Markle shared that the British royal family were concerned about how dark her baby's skin would be, a revelation that left Winfrey speechless. Markle also said her husband, Prince Harry's family, didn't want the child to have a royal title, but she declined to say who had aired such concerns. Markle also revealed that her life as a member of the British royal family had become so emotionally unbearable that she contemplated suicide. She described herself as sort of a prisoner in Kensington Palace. On a happier note though, the couple shared that their second child due this summer will be a go.
Well, those are our top stories for today. For more news and videos, visit straitstimes.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the red button below.
Once again, I'm Haryanto Diman with Olivia Quay. Join us tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.